Subscribe to the MTL World at Malworld 1 YouTube channel. Novel, The Primordial Law. Volume 3, Chu Prefecture Lantern Festival. Chapter 17, 161, A Catastrophic Disaster. 17th of Volume 3. Translator, Shadow Knight AK. Editor, Shadow Knight AK. To scold Chen Xuan, Sheng Qingyan, and Huo Chengkan as if they were house servants. It's utterly preposterous. Not even the Coffin Mountain 4D or the heartless golden ape would dare to show such arrogance, Yin Shi said. Li Wei recalled the sparks that had erupted from the skin of the two attendants when Zuoqiuting had struck them. They're likely ember spirits, merely concealed beneath human skin. Yin Ju's gaze turned grave. That makes sense. Only the ember spirits of the far western ashlands possess such terrifying energy. Rumor has it that when the young heavenly prides of the major powers retreated from the edge of the nether realm of the dead in Li province, they encountered ember spirits, suffering heavy casualties. Yin Shi seized on this crucial point. If ember spirits can hide within human bodies, how many have already infiltrated the young martial mystic cultivators of the major powers after ambushing them? What are they planning? Li Wei remembered what Zhenhai Guanwu had said. The far western ashlands are not a simple matter. Their true strength can only be glimpsed by immortal realm giants. Their ambitions extend far beyond mere squabbles among the younger generation. With the Sui sect, San Chen Palace, and Tianyi sect entangled with them, we must proceed with extreme caution. Yin Ju and Yin Shi nodded slightly, sensing the danger and pressure. This is the box I seized from them. Chen Xuan and the others seemed to value it greatly. Li Wei retrieved the black metal box from the evil camel bell and placed it in the center of the room. The box was tall and bound with chains. Whoosh! Yin Shi dropped from the rafters, his snake tail supporting his body. He reached out with both hands to touch the box, his eyes gleaming. Why does it feels like there's something alive inside? The moment he touched it, runes began to appear on the box's surface. Let me break the runes. Yin Shi flicked her sleeve, sending Yin Shi flying. A powerful psychic power spirit fire erupted from her snow-white forehead, engulfing her entire body in dazzling flames. When her fingers touched the runes, they instantly burned into wisps of blue smoke. This is the final stage of a great spiritual master's cultivation, Calamity Flame. Li Wei was astonished. Not only was Yin Shi's martial Dao cultivation unfathomable, her mastery of psychic power was equally astounding. A 9 springs pure immortal physique combined with a calamity flame of the great spiritual master made for a formidable combination. Bang! After breaking all the runes, Yin Shi channeled sword chi from her fingertips, severing the chains binding the iron box. I'll open it. Li Wei stepped forward. Yin Shi retreated, letting him take the opportunity to open the chest, since he had retrieved it. Li Wei cracked open the iron chest lid and peered inside. His already grave expression instantly froze into an icy mask, his mind momentarily blank. Thud. Li Wei slammed the chest shut with a resounding clang, startling Yin Shi, who had been drifting closer to peek inside. The lid nearly caught his head. Li Wei struggled to compose himself, turning to Yin Ju and Yin Shi, could you two step outside for a moment? Yin Shi, with his powerful psychic power, had already sensed the contents. I'll stay. I can handle this alone, Li Wei insisted. Yin Ju rose silently, axe in hand, and led the way out. Yin Shi was pulled along with him. Yin Shi fetched a set of robes and handed them to Li Wei. She left the room and closed the door behind her. Li Wei took a deep breath and reopened the metal chest. Inside lay a bloodied, skinless body, curled like a mass of rotten flesh. The head was bald, the scalp completely peeled away. The metal box was soaked in blood. Her ears were matted with blood, her eyeballs gouged out, leaving her blind and deaf. Yet she was still alive. Sensing the box being opened, she recoiled in terror and panic, desperately curling up. But her raw flesh, stripped of skin, burned with excruciating pain as it rubbed against itself. Li Wei gripped the edges of the metal box so tightly his hands were nearly deformed. He used his psychic power to gently reassure her. Xuanyu, it's me. Sima Qin. No, Li Wei. I'm Li Wei. Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid. Xuanyu, curled up in the box, fell momentarily silent. Slowly, she raised her head and began to sob. No matter how high her cultivation, she was still just a young woman, vulnerable at heart. Even seeing a stranger in such a horrific state would have moved Li Wei. He wasn't particularly close to Xuanyu, but how could he not feel pity and compassion for a girl who had once smiled at him? Li Wei released strands of spirit light, weaving them around her like a second skin. The light radiated a cool, soothing warmth, easing her pain. Tell me, what happened? Li Wei asked gently, draping Yin Shi's clothes over her, infused with spirit light. After Xuanyu recounted everything, Li Wei used psychic power to hypnotize her, allowing her to fall into a peaceful sleep. Opening the door, Li Wei stepped out to meet the gazes of the 3 hidden ones waiting outside. She's one of Phoenix Terrace envoy, Zhang Ning's people. She was captured by a master from the Ember Spirits, who peeled off her skin, most likely to impersonate her and target Zhang Ning. Yin Shi, being a woman, was deeply empathetic. That's too cruel. 10 times crueler than stripping a woman naked. The loss of spiritual dignity combined with physical agony. Yin Ju said, for the Ember Spirits, this isn't considered cruel. It's like humans skinning animals for their flesh and blood. Perhaps many of the young masters who came to Chu Prefecture have already had their skin peeled off and their inner essence replaced, Yin Shi said, his voice trembling. Li Wei continued, the ambush battle erupted at dawn yesterday. Zhang Ning, Yin Shi San, and Zhuangyu were surrounded by the Ember Spirits, Night City, Coffin Mountain, and Chen Wenwu's forces. Zhuangyu was separated from them and captured. She said that before her skin was stripped, she overheard a conversation. Zhang Ning must have activated the 100-character scripture's spiritual artifact Jade Boat and escaped with Yin Shi San. However, with her cultivation level, she could only fly the Jade Boat about 500 li before her spiritual chi would be exhausted. In my opinion, I won't interfere in the affairs between the imperial court and the rebel armies. But senior brother Shi San is a member of our Zhu Li hidden sect. His life and death are my responsibility. What do the three of you think? Yin Ju pondered for a long moment before speaking. You shouldn't get involved in this. Quickly leave with Li Ling for the prefecture city. It's much safer there. As for Yin Shi San, the three of us will find a way to rescue him. Yin Shi added, I'll send someone to scout ahead and assess the current situation. Li Wei, rest assured. Although we hidden ones are the only survivors of our batch, we will never be cold-blooded toward our hidden sect disciples. After Yin Shi left, Yin Ju quickly departed as well. Yin Shi said, that's just how those two are. They're powerful and extremely opinionated. If you want to command them, I'd say you'll have to wait at least 3 more years. Your cultivation speed is simply too fast. Right, what are you planning to do about that woman? Help her reclaim her skin, or get her medical attention immediately. Or perhaps drink the blood of the ancient immortal giant beast. Becoming an aberrant humanoid would be quite interesting, though the missing eyeballs make things complicated. Regrowing skin is much easier. Keep an eye on her for me. Li Wei deeply understood the enemy's ruthlessness. He returned to Cloud Pavilion, intending to keep Li Ling by his side. In case of danger, he could immediately bring her into the blood mud space. As he arrived outside Cloud Pavilion, before even stepping inside, he saw a figure standing in the shadow of a lantern, holding a fan. It seemed they had been waiting for a while. Li Wei's expression shifted as he walked toward them. Zuoqiu Ting still wore Long Ting's face, but the disguise had become even more convincing. His face was grim, burdened with heavy thoughts. You've caused a disaster, Wei Yi. Do you know what kind of formidable enemy you've provoked? Li Wei's mood was sour. The inheritor of the prestigious Zuoqiu sect came all this way just to scare me. Scare you? Zuoqiu Ting's brow furrowed with an unyielding worry. You deliberately used the Azure Yin banner in the Heavenly Pavilion, didn't you? You wanted to draw me out. Tell me, how many treasures did you find in 33 Li Mountain? Li Wei hesitated. A senior dead spirit once told me that the Zuoqiu sect's teachings are impeccable, and its inheritor must be of upright character. Zuoqiu Ting momentarily set aside his concerns, his eyes filled with hope. Was it the senior who taught you the heavenly eye? Where is she now? In the nether realm of the dead. I spent some time training with the old senior there, Li Wei replied, reciting the story he and his spirit tablet master had agreed upon. Zuoqiu Ting's gaze dimmed, but he didn't seem surprised. Li Wei continued, in 33 Li Mountain, I truly feared you might turn on me for the secret of the heavenly eye, so I fled. Then why did you deliberately draw me out now? Zuoqiu Ting asked. Because I'm participating in the Hidden Dragon Lantern Festival in 2 months. My identity will be exposed sooner or later. Li Wei continued, moreover, I trust Senior Dead Spirit and the integrity of the Zuoqiu sect's inheritor. You should have trusted me long ago. Zuoqiu Ting's anger flared. How much immortal soil did you dig up? The Zuoqiu sect placed great importance on immortal soil. This was why their esteemed inheritor had deigned to meet Li Wei in person. Li Wei wouldn't reveal his leverage so quickly. I want a 1,000-year-old essence herb, preferably with ice properties. Just for a single essence herb? Zuoqiu Ting asked. Essence herbs were too conspicuous. Even with Yao Qian's abilities, buying one had still caused a commotion. Li Wei knew his limits and wouldn't risk such exposure. Trading with the Zuoqiu sect was far safer. Regardless, his immediate priority was to cultivate the 7 phoenix-winged moth emperors to the 5th layer of the 5 seas realm. Li Wei craved power above all else. He added, I also need a pill furnace and all the herbs listed here. He handed Zuoqiu Ting the herb list. Zuoqiu Ting scanned the list. Are you planning to refine a pill to rapidly boost your spiritual qi? Li Wei was startled. How did you know? Zhenhai Guanwu had already given him the recipe for the qi ascension pill. The list of ingredients he had given Zuoqiu Ting had been altered, with several other precious herbs added. The amounts of each herb were also listed as 10 or 20 pounds, not following the original recipe. Zuo Ting said coldly, there are only a few main ingredients for medicinal pills that enhance spiritual qi. Don't think the Zhu hidden sect is the only one with such a recipe. All the major sects have similar recipes, but the effects and grades of the resulting pills vary. Instead of buying so many ingredients and potentially ruining the process, you might be better off buying directly from the Zuoqiu sect. Li Wei clearly trusted the recipe Zhenhai Guanwu had provided more, believing its grade and effects were far superior to anything the Zuoqiu sect could offer. He asked, how did you know I was from the Zhu hidden sect? I've seen your hidden lord once when I was following the founding ancestor. Even if you didn't reveal yourself, I could have found you. You can't escape our sect. Zuo Ting rolled his eyes. What other conditions do you have? Just state them all at once. Blank. End of chapter. Novel. The Primordial Law. Volume 3, Chu Prefecture Lantern Festival. Chapter 18 162 50,000 Jin. 18th of Volume 3. Translator, Shadow Knight AK. Editor, Shadow Knight AK. I haven't thought of anything yet, Li Wei replied, handing back the talismanic robe Zuo Ting had given him before entering 33 Li Mountain. Keep it yourself. It's inscribed with defensive runes left by my clan's ancestor, capable of blocking a deadly calamity. Zuo Ting continued, the things you requested will be delivered tomorrow. What about what I want? Young Master Zuo should understand that immortal soil is extremely precious and difficult to obtain. However, I've excavated a considerable amount of spiritual soil. I wonder if the Zuo clan is interested in purchasing it. Li Wei asked. Zuo Ting's mind raced. He scrutinized Li Wei with a sharp gaze. Yes, we'll take it. But let me be clear, you were only able to enter 33 Li Mountain because of the Zuo clan's talismanic robe. Whether it's immortal soil or spiritual soil, I can only offer you 30% of the market price. Of course, you're free to sell to others. But can they afford to buy in bulk? And you should be careful because they might swallow you whole if they can acquire it on a large scale. Besides keeping your secret, the Zuo clan can also obtain cultivation resources that others can't. For example, millennial essence herb. Or perhaps some of the precious medicines and herbs on your medicinal materials list. Li Wei had already prepared to make concessions when he decided to lure the Zuo clan into the open. Li Wei said, I value sincerity above all else. Once I make a promise, I never go back on my word. Besides, while the Zuo clan offers to buy back spiritual soil at 30% of its market price, you also mentioned owing me a favor. A favor from the ancient myriad sects is worth far more than mere silver coins. That's good to hear. Zuo Ting said, the market price for spirit soil is 1,000 silver coins per pound. The Zuo clan can only offer you 300 silver coins per pound. How much can you provide? Li Wei feigned a pained, helpless, and conflicted expression, but inwardly he was ecstatic. At Blood Moon Lake, he had dug up countless tens of thousands of pounds of spiritual soil. Who knew its price would be so exorbitant? But only the 10,000 sects could afford to buy it in bulk to create spiritual soil medicinal fields. No other faction would be willing to spend so much money. They'd likely prefer to make a profit without any investment, resorting to murder and robbery instead. Besides Zuo Ting, he could also try Kang Li's faction. How much would you charge for a millennial essence herbs? Li Wei asked. Zuo Ting pondered silently, wondering just how much leverage this man truly had. He replied, since we're being courteous, your initiative to fulfill your promise at 33 Li Mountain demonstrates good faith. For the millennial essence herbs, I'll offer you an 80% discount. If you pay with spiritual soil, it will cost you 26,000 Jin. If you add in the alchemy furnace and the vast quantity of precious medicine on this medicinal materials list, and you can produce 50,000 Jin of spirit soil, I'll settle the entire deal. Zuo Ting didn't believe Li Wei could possibly produce that much spiritual soil. Even if he had truly robbed all four great sects, he still wouldn't have enough. After all, he had only spent 3 days in the mountains. How much could he have possibly dug up in that time? His true goal was still immortal soil. After all, spiritual soil was a byproduct of immortal soil. By gauging the amount of spiritual soil, he could infer the quantity of immortal soil Li Wei possessed. Alright, it's settled. We'll meet again tomorrow at the Heavenly Pavilion to exchange goods, Li Wei thought, secretly considering whether to buy another millennial essence herbs. In the end, he held back. The sum was too large. It might tempt the Zuo clan to try a risk-free deal. Zuo Ting froze, then confirmed again, you can produce 50,000 caddies of spiritual soil. This matter must remain absolutely confidential. I can offer a discount, but secrecy is paramount, Li Wei said. Zuo Ting understood the situation but didn't immediately mention immortal soil. He opened his folding fan, fanning himself lightly, puffed out his chest proudly, and narrowed his eyes slightly. At the Mirror Moon Pavilion, I saved you. The Zuo clan no longer owes you a favor. Li Wei valued the Zuo clan's favor most. Young Master Zuoqiu, aren't you underestimating Li Wei's abilities? Do you truly believe I couldn't escape? Besides, I never asked for your help. Favors aren't repaid like that. Zuoqiu Ting chuckled. Are you overestimating yourself? It's true, your cultivation and combat prowess surprised me. You've already reached the level where you can contend with an ordinary 5th stage 5 Seas Realm Martial Mystic Cultivator, that's quite impressive. But, not to mention the Mirror Moon Pavilion's master, either of the left or right attendants could have easily detained you. Not necessarily, Li Wei countered. Zuoqiu Ting said, fine. Based on those 3 words alone, this young master will remember you. I hope you can continue to surprise me next time. Li Wei was fond of Zuoqiu Ting's open and forthright nature, completely devoid of pretense. He didn't seem like an heir to one of the 10,000 sects, but rather an old friend, radiating charisma. He asked, who are they, really? Why are they hiding their identities so carefully? What's their goal? Zuoqiu Ting's expression turned grave. To be precise, they're not human. While the Zuoqiu clan and the Due Calamity Crossing Temple were gathering young martial mystic cultivators from across the land to celebrate Lantern Festival, they slaughtered countless people, skinned them alive, and secretly infiltrated Chu Prefecture. They certainly didn't come here to join the festivities. Li Wei asked, are they planning to disrupt the Hidden Dragon Lantern Festival? Are they targeting the young heavenly prides of the Lingxiao realm, or are they specifically targeting the Zuoqiu clan and the Calamity Crossing Temple? Zuoqiu Ting looked at Li Wei with newfound respect. You're quite insightful. It seems you've done your research and aren't just a reckless martial mystic cultivator. Do you think my attempt to seize that black metal box was reckless? Li Wei asked. Zuoqiu Ting smiled without answering, instead asking, who was inside that black metal box? Li Wei didn't hide the truth, explaining Zhuang Yu's situation to gauge the Zuoqiu clan's stance on the matter. So far, there had been no opposition, but the Zuoqiu clan, which was already building momentum, had an extremely delicate relationship with Lingxiao Palace. Zuoqiu Ting fell into deep thought. After a long moment, he said, if Zhang Ning were to die in Chu Prefecture, it wouldn't be a simple death. It would be a brutal one. The relationship between the Zuoqiu clan and Lingxiao Palace would instantly become strained to the breaking point. They're trying to use this to lure Lingxiao Palace's second palace master to Chu Prefecture. Then, the Hidden Dragon Lantern Festival would be impossible to hold. Li Wei said, the Zuoqiu clan wanted to build momentum, but before they could even establish it, everything fell apart. Will the Calamity Crossing Temple still favor you? Or might they switch their support to the Dragon Sect, which has been building considerable momentum? The Dragon Sect inheritor is very close to them, and they're sure to benefit from this situation. Zuoqiu Ting stared intently at Li Wei. Resolving this crisis and eliminating those ember spirits and the instigators of the unrest is also an opportunity to prove our capabilities. We can use this to show the world that anyone who dares to defy the Zuoqiu clan will face dire consequences. Li Wei nodded. Actually, I'm curious why a group of young juniors dares to run rampant in Chu Prefecture. Aren't they afraid of being dealt with by the older generation of the Zuoqiu clan? Or is it that, at this stage, it's only soldier against soldier, general against general? Zuoqiu Ting replied, in the conflicts of the world, there are unspoken rules that everyone tacitly agrees to. Lines are drawn, and circles are marked. Those who break the rules, how can they escape retribution? It's like a collision between major powers, Li Wei said, where beings beyond the immortal realm can't just slaughter at will. If they act outside the rules, they risk being attacked by everyone. Li Wei understood. It was like on Earth, even in wars between nations, the most terrifying weapons were kept in check. Before a true war erupted, there were many unspoken rules at play. For instance, everyone wanted a localized proxy war. No one dared to intervene directly unless absolutely necessary, and only if they were certain of victory. The current clash between the younger generation of Chu Prefecture was undoubtedly this localized proxy war. They were probing each other, keeping the conflict under control. But it could easily escalate into a full-scale war at any critical point. There must be unseen power struggles behind the scenes. Li Wei suddenly thought of something. You were following me when you discovered the young venerable hidden in the Mirror Moon Pavilion. So, in a way, you owe me a favor. Zuoqiu Ting remained silent. Li Wei continued, you've already fought this young venerable, haven't you? How strong is it? Zuoqiu Ting didn't want to discuss this matter. His gaze drifted toward the entrance of the Cloud Pavilion, where Li Ling was emerging. He lowered his voice, help me contact the divine hidden ones of your Zhu Li hidden sect. Also, have Li Ling bring her brother here. I want to fight this group before the end of the year. Li Wei looked at Li Ling under the lamp and asked, so, are you going to intervene with Zhang Ning? Your Zuoqiu clan and the Lingxiao Palace. Are. Li Wei turned to look, but Zuoqiu Ting had vanished without a sound. Am I that annoying? He sighed and walked toward the Cloud Pavilion gate. Li Ling asked, was that Zuoqiu Ting just now? Li Wei nodded. You should know him well, right? I remember in the immortal realm space of Burial Immortal Town, you two were inseparable, always together. Is he really that ugly? With big ears, a flat nose, crooked teeth, and a slanted mouth. Anyway, it's best not to see his true appearance. Otherwise, your impression of him will be completely shattered. Li Ling asked again, are you hiding something from me tonight? Why would I hide anything from you? Li Wei chuckled. Li Ling pressed, what about Miss Qin Li? You're getting more and more nosy. If you're really worried, go cultivate in the blood mud space and draw more talismanic runes for protection. Li Wei found Li Ling's gaze fierce, like a mother hen guarding her chicks. Finally, she seemed normal, no longer wearing that fake, overly theatrical smile she used to. Blank. End of chapter. Novel. The Primordial Law. Volume 3, Chu Prefecture Lantern Festival. Chapter 19, 163, Luan Sheng Lin Yu. 19th of Volume 3. Translator, Shadow Knight AK. Editor, Shadow Knight AK. The Bingju's lake was vast and shrouded in countless mysterious legends. Some said that every morning, a mirage palace would rise from the sea, revealing the ruins of an ancient city. Some who entered this mirage scene had reached a real place of ruins, returning with countless scriptures and warriors. Others claimed that on full moon nights, one could enter an immortal realm space through the moon's reflection on the water's surface, a realm filled with precious medicine, where one could dig up immortal soil and spiritual soil. There were too many legends, some true, some false, and none entirely trustworthy. Yet since ancient times, countless immortal realm giants had sailed across the Bingju's lake, seeking opportunities to advance further. Across the boundless marsh, a scarlet spiritual artifact giant warship sliced through the waves at breakneck speed. The two attendants flanking the ship remained clad in Taoist robes, but their human skin had been replaced. They were still the twin Ren Dao. Plop. Plop. Two bloodied corpses were kicked into the water. They were already dead, having been flayed alive. The scent of blood attracted strange beasts from the depths. The water churned, and the corpses vanished beneath the surface. The night-scale colossus beat its pair of black wings, each over 10 meters long, and dove from midair. As it approached the scarlet spiritual artifact giant warship, Yuan Tujun, standing on its back, flashed away and landed lightly on the deck. The night-scale colossus soared back into the sky, circling above the warship with sharp eyes scanning the sea. Yuan Tujun's purple hair flowed freely, framing his handsome and upright features. A crescent moon mark on his brow gave him a noble aura, yet his entire being radiated a chilling coldness. Tujun's here. Come, try the tea I've brewed. It's made with the blood dragon robe from Long Ting. A graceful and elegant pure immortal physique figure sat at the bow of the ship, facing the bright moon over the sea. He was brewing tea in a clay pot, adding firewood with delicate, precise movements. His clothes were spotless, unlike those of mortals, exuding an otherworldly charm. Inside the pot, the water bubbled furiously, and the aroma of tea filled the warship. Facing this figure, Yuan Tujun, the young city lord of Night City, shed his usual arrogance and hawk-like gaze. As he approached, he smiled. Young Venerable, you're in high spirits. The blood dragon robe is said to be even more precious than immortal soil, with only a few dozen pounds produced every century. Brewing tea with it can enhance blood qi, forging a powerful immortal physique as resilient as a dragon or phoenix. Sit down first. It still needs a bit more heat. Luan Sheng Lin Yu's star-studded robes shimmered like a sea of stars draped over his body. He sighed, the Mirror Moon Pavilion has been destroyed. That first inheritor of the Zhuoqiu sect is quite capable. See. He's driven even me out to sea. Yuan Tujun asked, is he really that strong? Very strong. He exchanged 3 moves with Yu Zi, and neither gained an advantage, Luan Sheng Linyu replied. Yuan Tujun was visibly moved. He knew that Yu Zi ranked first among the 4 great experts, Qi, Ming, Kang, and Zhang, brought by the young venerable from the far western ashlands. Yuan Tujun said, I thought Kang Li was the strongest in the southern territory. Now it seems Zhuoqiu Ting is at least his equal. But to say he drove the young venerable out to sea is overstating it. The young venerable came for Zhang Ning, didn't he? I still want to taste the feather immortal from the immortal forest. Otherwise, Qi Jin will just peel off her skin, leaving her utterly unappetizing. That would ruin my appetite completely. Have you found her yet? Luan Sheng Linyu asked. Yuan Tujun replied, we've pinpointed a sea region and are narrowing the search. The news has already leaked. You should prepare yourselves. The tea is ready. Try some first. Luan Sheng Linyu picked up the earthenware pot and poured Yuan Tujun a full cup. The tea was a vibrant scarlet, like fresh blood. The overflowing fragrance transformed into countless scarlet dragon shadows, thousands upon thousands of them circling the ship's bow. Thank you, young venerable. Yuan Tujun raised his cup with both hands and drank deeply. So what if the news leaked? My father will restrain the older generation of officials in Chu Prefecture. As for the younger generation, is there anyone among them who can even stand on the stage? Prefecture may be teeming with experts, but by the time they arrive, they'll only be able to collect Zhang Ning's corpse. As for Zuo Quting, after his battle with Yu Zi, he should have realized he's not on the same level as the young venerable. He'll be too terrified to even think about opposing us, let alone actively antagonizing us. Still, the leak has put us in a rather awkward position. Now that everything is out in the open, it's no longer fun. How could this have happened? Luan Sheng Linyu smiled faintly. You probably won't believe this, but the one who caused the disruption was an insignificant nobody. Don't worry about it, Chen Wenwu is already investigating. Whoever made the mistake will have to fix it. If they can't, they'll have to pay with their life. The words were spoken casually, but to Yuan Tujun, they felt as heavy as mountains, nearly causing him to drop his teacup. Blood mud space. Zhenhai Guanwu explained, the last ancient immortal giant beast in the region around the Lingxiao realm was Yujia. 10,000 years ago, Yujia gave birth to the flying dragon and the flying phoenix. Let's start with the flying dragon. It was a man-eater, emerging every 600 years to devour at least one province each time. Around 2800 years ago, I slew it in the East Sea, extracted its dragon soul, divided it into 300 parts, and forged them into 300 officials' robes. The flying dragon gave birth to a Qilin. I searched for a long time back then, determined to eradicate its lineage, but I never found it. It likely escaped to another realm, just like the Longmen did during that period. As for your question about the far western ashlands, it's related to the flying phoenix. The flying dragon gave birth to the Qilin, and the flying phoenix gave birth to the Luan bird. Legend says that the 5 Luan birds in the far western ashlands were born from the flying phoenix and the ancestor of the ember spirits. That happened several thousand years ago. Li Yi asked, so, besides ember spirits, the far western ashlands also have Luan birds. That was the situation 1,000 years ago. Who knows what it's like now? Zhenxi Mistwatcher inquired, have you encountered them? Li Yi nodded. Zhenhai Guanwu, well aware of the far western ashlands' formidable power, asked, can you avoid them? No. Li Yi replied firmly. Zhenxi Mistwatcher pondered for a moment. Here, I can intervene to help you in dire circumstances. But once we enter Chu Prefecture City, I absolutely cannot act. Too many old foxes lurk there, and any move would expose me. Actually. Li Yi produced Zhu Qinfeng's official robe, a smile playing on his lips. How about you help me consecrate it first? Do you have the ability right now? Zhenhai Guanwu had already guessed that Li Yi had stolen the robe from Zhu Qinfeng's corpse. It's best not to use this unless you're absolutely certain you won't be exposed. Half an hour later, Li Yi, now wearing the official's robe which Zhenhai Guanwu had reactivated, prepared to leave. He glanced at the massive silver coffin, a thoughtful expression on his face. After a night of intense activity, sleep was out of the question. The next morning, just as dawn broke, Yinshi returned with news. Zhang Ning has fled into the Bingju's. Night City and Coffin Mountain have mobilized a large force to search the sea, but this is likely just a public display. Shortly after, Yin Zhu returned. I spoke with Yin Er. His information indicates that Yuan Yan of Night City and Coffin Mountain Shufodu have secretly arrived in Chu Prefecture. Additionally, a transcendent being from the far western ashlands personally visited Taoli Peach and Plum Mountain, the ancestral realm of the Zuaoqiu sect. 2 days ago, Taoli Peach and Plum Mountain was filled with celestial light, and 10,000 birds flocked to greet the arrival. Yin Shi said, this is good news for the Zhu Li clan. It means the fighting in Li province has passed its initial, fiercest phase and entered a stalemate. Otherwise, why would Yuan Yan and Shu Fodu be here? Yin Shi countered, good news. Since the high-ranking members have already spoken, it means resolving the ember spirits will fall to us, the younger generation of martial mystic cultivators. They're targeting the Zuaoqiu sect, and since the Zhu Li clan is deeply intertwined with them now, we can't possibly stay neutral. It's not about resolving the ember spirits, Li Yi corrected, it's about saving senior brother Shi San. Last night, I spoke with the Zuaoqiu sect's inheritor. He's already fought those ember spirits, and judging by his expression, the situation is dire. The enemy is far more powerful than we imagined. Yin Shi exclaimed, wow, you actually managed to talk to the Zuaoqiu sect's inheritor. I don't even have that privilege. Yin Shi, having witnessed Zhuangyu's suffering, felt a surge of anger. Are you afraid? That young venerable dares to back the 3 great sects. He's an enemy of the Zhu Li clan. The hidden sect fears no foe. Yin Zhu added, to be precise, whether we're enemies doesn't depend on us. Even if we want to avoid conflict, others won't let us. Li Yi, fearing they might hesitate, said, since you're all so eager to fight, choose a representative. Zuaoqiu Ting wants to test his skills against them and meet the Zhu Li hidden sect's hidden one. Who will negotiate with him? I will, Yin Shi volunteered. Yin Zhu and Yin Shi stared at him. I'll just serve tea and water. Shouldn't be a problem, right? Yin Shi said softly. Yin Zhu replied, no, I should go. The Zhu clan in Li province desperately needs Xuanhuan sect's support. The Zhu hidden sect can't afford to appear weak. Alright, Yinxi and I will handle the negotiations, Li Wei said. Yin Zhu fell silent. Li Wei continued, Yin Zhu, you're the strongest. You should head to the Bingfeng Jews immediately. We can't afford to waste time here. By the way, will the Dao Seed Realm Hidden Ones intervene to rescue senior brother Shi San? Yin Zhu replied, don't overthink it. This is a battle below the Dao Seed Realm. All sides have likely reached an unspoken agreement. If the conflict escalates step by step, the storm will be far more terrifying than the current situation in Li province. No one will be able to withstand it. The only ones who will benefit in the end will be the forces that stayed out of the fight. Why did Xuanhuan only invite the Zhu clan? Because he knows this battle is directly tied to our interests. We can't avoid it. But if he had invited the eastern, western, and northern territories to join forces against the Ember Spirit, the price Xuanhuan sect would have to pay would have been far greater. Li Wei said, the far western ashlands are in the west. They can rally forces in the southern territory with a single call, and multiple factions obey their commands. Their influence in the western territory will only be greater. Yin Zhu and Yin Shi immediately left the city and sailed into the Bing Jews. Xuanhuan was highly efficient. He had gathered all the medicines Li Wei needed overnight, even including a 1,000-year-old herb and a pill furnace. At this moment, the sun had just cleared the eaves, and sunlight filtered through the branches, casting dappled shadows on the ground. Li Wei led Xuanhuan into the immortal pavilion into Yin Shi's room. Xuanhuan first examined Zhuang Yu, who lay in bed. Then, with a scrutinizing and surprised gaze, he turned to Yin Shi. Who would have thought that Miss Qin Li of the Immortal Forest was actually the hidden one of the Zhu hidden sect? Li Wei, you're not just trying to fool me with some random person, are you? Before the words had even faded, Xuanhuan vanished from his spot. His folding fan, now like a sword, thrust straight at Yin Shi's forehead. The speed was lightning fast, and the attack came without warning. Whoosh! Yin Shi stood rooted to the spot, her feet unmoving. A formation materialized around her forehead, unfolding like a celestial compass. Countless characters floated within it, rising and falling like stars in the night sky. Xuanhuan's folding fan and arm immediately plunged into the formation, his entire body pulled in by its power. Whoosh! The next moment, he was back in his original position, smiling. You're known as the dual sword prodigy, but I didn't expect you to be a Calamity Flame Realm great spiritual master as well. With such strength, you don't seem like someone who was just temporarily hired. Yin Shi remained composed and elegant, secretly shocked by Xuanhuan's terrifying power. Fortunately, he had only tested the waters and hadn't used his full strength, or he likely would have been exposed. Young Master Xuanhuan, why are you so suspicious? Do you think a woman can't be a hidden one? Yin Shi's words were sharp. Now, you're the one who came to us for help. I'm very disappointed by your attitude. Negotiating with a woman was never Xuanhuan's strong suit. Li Wei relaxed, pulled out a bottle of golden spring, took a sip, and resumed hammering his golden bones. Blank. End of chapter. Novel. The Primordial Law. Volume 3, Chu Prefecture Lantern Festival. Chapter 20, 164, Setting Sail. 20th of Volume 3. Translator, Shadow Knight AK. Editor, Shadow Knight AK. I'm not begging you. Xuanhuan said, settling into a rosewood chair at the table and casually crossing his legs, you must understand that our two clans' fates are now intertwined. Li Prefecture is the battlefield where your very survival hangs in the balance. If not for the deterrence of my clan's ancestor, the Four Extremes Ape King or the Coffin Mountain Forbidden One might have already intervened, slaughtering every immortal realm cultivator of the Zhu tribe. Where would your current situation be then? Yin Shi sat in another rosewood chair, his tone equally unyielding, and then what? They'd join forces and next march on the Xuanhuan clan. Xuanhuan, you must realize that if the Zhu tribe hadn't tied down the enemy in Li Prefecture, it wouldn't just be the younger generation of enemies coming to Chu Prefecture now, it would be the full power of various armies. He continued, anyone can see that the imperial court's downfall is imminent, a matter of mere months or years. The world has reached a critical juncture. In the 7 northern prefectures, the Snow Sword Tang court has already absorbed and subdued various righteous armies, consolidating its dominance. It has gathered the most powerful cultivators from 5 prefectures under its banner, amassing a 1,000,000-strong cultivator army poised for action. They are sharpening their blades and preparing their horses, massing on the mist grasslands, awaiting only the order to march south, drink from the Shui River, and unify the north. In the 7 eastern prefectures, the Dragon Sect and the Thundercloud Sect are locked in a power struggle. The 3 island barbarians have retreated to the East Sea, but they will inevitably complete their consolidation within a year and then join forces with the Snow Sword Tang court beneath the walls of Lingxiao City. The Zhu clan has already seized 3 of the 7 western provinces. Only the Quanrong and K clans can still put up some resistance, but they're just cicadas chirping their last before winter sets in. The situation in the world is gradually becoming clear. Only the Southern Territory has maintained a semblance of stability for the past decade, thanks to the joint efforts of the Xuanhuan clan and the Zhu Li tribe. That's right. The Zhu Li tribe has declined significantly, but without their support, the Xuanhuan clan would suffer crippling losses in any attempt to unify the Southern Territory, leaving them with no chance of vying for control of the world. Why have Dragon Sect and the far western Ashlands chosen this moment to intervene, pouring resources into stirring up chaos among the Southern Territory's factions? They want to strip you of that chance. Who doesn't know that the Xuanhuan clan plans to use the Hidden Dragon Lantern Festival and the Calamity Crossing Temple's influence to peacefully integrate the entire Southern Territory? Do you really think they'll let you succeed? Therefore, young Master Xuanhuan, our relationship is one of mutual need, not master and servant. Xuanhuan Ting listened quietly, nodding slowly. Excellent. Since the Divine Hidden One understands the current situation so clearly, I won't waste words. The San Chen Palace and Night City are backed by the far western Ashlands, and the Sui sect and Tianyi sect are also leaning in that direction. The Zhu Li tribe and the three great sects are already at odds. I intend to declare war on them. Will you fight alongside me? If so, we must commit everything we have. Many lives may be lost. Do we have any way out? Yin Shi countered. Xuanhuan Ting shook his head. None. Then why bother asking, young Master Xuanhuan? Yin Shi said. Xuanhuan Ting clapped 3 times. Excellent. Rest assured, the Xuanhuan clan will commit everything to this battle, and the Xuanhuan hidden sect will also mobilize. I've already identified our greatest enemy, the young venerable, Luan Sheng Lin Yu. He is the son of the Azure Phoenix, a great demon from the far western Ashlands. He possesses the pure bloodline of an ancient immortal giant beast, capable of tearing Dao Seed Realm martial mystic cultivators apart with his bare hands. His martial path prowess is also extraordinary, simultaneously cultivating the battle intent of both the Azure Phoenix and the Qilin. Wherever he goes, all birds and beasts bow before him, just like the young son of heaven in the legends of the demon clan. Under his command are 4 formidable warriors, Yu Zi, Qi Jin, Ming Niansheng, and Kang Jin. Any one of them is comparable to a successor from the 10,000 sects. Furthermore, he has left and right attendants, as well as followers from various Southern Territory powers, including young City Lord Yuan Tujun of Night City, the 4 Truths of Coffin Mountain, and top-tier experts like Chen Wenwu. We must also be wary of the heartless Golden Ape, Long Ting, and Yang Qingxi. Li Wei drank his second mouthful of golden spring and began forging his 140th bone. A layer of golden light shimmered across his skin. Every bit of strength gained was a victory. The discussion concluded. Xuanhuan Ting rose to take his leave. As he turned to go, his gaze fell upon Li Wei, who stood by the window. He walked over. Have you collected a lot of golden spring? Give me a jar. Li Wei opened his eyes, his pupils radiating golden light. He said, surprised, young Master Xuanhuan, have you overestimated our friendship? Golden spring is extremely precious. Xuanhuan Ting replied, why would I covet something that isn't precious? That made perfect sense. Li Wei recalled the life-saving talisman robe from the previous night, which Xuanhuan Ting had given away without hesitation. His generosity was truly unmatched. He said, if young Master Xuanhuan wishes to use golden spring to forge your bones and enhance your strength, you might consider exchanging it for millennial essence herb. However, I, for one, enjoy making friends. I have a secret technique I could share with you. The 7 phoenix-winged moth emperors were voracious eaters. Raising them required an enormous amount of resources, and even a mountain of millennial essence herbs wouldn't be enough. Oh. Xuanhuan Ting looked thoughtful, clearly intrigued. Li Wei leaned close to his ear and whispered, the Bone Transformation and Spiritual Exchange Manual. Knowing that his spirit tablet master was proficient in this Taoist secret technique, lost to the Xuanhuan clan for generations, how could Li Wei not have learned it? This is the truly remarkable grand technique. Once perfected, its effects are unimaginable. Xuanhuan Ting asked suspiciously, did that dead spirit senior also pass this secret technique to you? Li Wei immediately circulated his spiritual power, channeling it along his meridian veins throughout his body. His muscles and bones shifted, his height increased by half an inch, his shoulders narrowed, his facial features subtly altered, and his entire demeanor changed. In mere moments, Li Wei had transformed into an entirely different person, unrecognizable from his previous self. How is it? As long as you don't engage in combat or release spiritual qi, you won't be exposed. If you learn this, stop changing into Long Ting's form. I'm afraid I'll mistake you for him later. Xuanhuan Ting's eyes sparkled with admiration. Excellent, Li Wei. I've made you my friend. After this matter is settled, I'll come to you to study this technique. Of course, he wanted to learn more than just the Bone Transformation and Spiritual Exchange Manual. He believed that the transcendent Li Wei had encountered in the nether realm of the dead was none other than the one who had vanished from the Zuoqiu clan 8,000 years ago. After Zuoqiu Ting left, Yanxi's expression turned grave. She murmured, "You were right. The enemy is even more formidable than I anticipated. This will be a hard battle, one where someone is destined to fall. Li Wei, you and Yaoyan are the future of the hidden sect. Leave Giant Marsh Juiced City immediately and stay out of this." Li Wei desperately wanted to retrieve the god of the Zhu Li's battle intent right then and have the others try to merge with it, but time was too short. There was no way they could manage it. He said, "All right, I'll leave as soon as possible and won't hold you back or cause any trouble. But don't push yourselves too hard. If you can't win, run. There's no shame in retreating. The most important thing is to survive." Li Wei took Xuanhuan with him, claiming he was taking her to the prefectural office in Giant Marsh Juiced City. In reality, Li Wei had no intention of doing so. For a proud woman like Xuanhuan, having the entire prefectural office know about her current state, being gawked at and pitied by countless people, would be a fate worse than death. More importantly, the imperial court had already abandoned Chu Prefecture. How much power could the prefectural office in Giant Marsh Juiced City possibly have? Inside a hastily rented exotic beast carriage, Xuanhuan was completely shrouded in a nightwalker's garment, sitting on the left side of the carriage. Li Wei sat opposite her, speaking softly. "Skin can regenerate. You just need to take petals from the core lamp. I already had someone buy them last night. As for your eyes, I've checked. Your martial path cultivation is quite high. You can find a demon clan spiritual eye to reattach them. With meridian veins and spiritual power, you can slowly nurture them back to health." Xuanhuan reached out, gripping Li Wei's wrist tightly, as if grasping a lifeline. "Li Wei, don't worry about me. Save Miss. Lord Qi must be planning to transform into my likeness to deceive her. Hurry and warn her. If she falls for it, I'll never forgive myself. Please, I beg you. Forget about her for now. Even if she dies, what does it have to do with you? Is it your fault? You need to learn to care for yourself. Do you even have a brain?" Li Wei scolded, then sighed and retrieved the core lamp from the cold jade box. The lamp had 9 petals, all crystal clear. The core within emitted a soft, gentle light, like a wick. Li Wei plucked off a petal and held it to her lips. Xuanhuan, though weeping silently without tears, trembled as she opened her mouth and chewed lightly. A faint white glow enveloped her body, and her flesh grew slightly warm and itchy. After consuming all 9 petals and the core, Xuanhuan's skin began to regenerate, tender and delicate, though still not quite normal. It would require nourishment with blood qi and spiritual power to fully recover. At least the pain had greatly subsided. Li Wei's voice was gentle and soothing. "That's right. The one who peeled off your skin and impersonated you is an ember spirit named Lord Qi. His cultivation is terrifying, comparable to the successors of the 10,000 sects. If just the 2 of us went to rescue her, it would be suicide. Go to the Giant Marsh Juiced City Prefectural Office and ask the Imperial Court's strongest cultivators and army for help," Xuanhuan suggested. "Excellent idea." Li Wei agreed and retrieved the black metal box still stained with Xuanhuan's blood from the evil camel bell, placing it in the carriage. The 2 dismounted, both cloaked in nightwalker's garments and hooded. Li Wei handed the coachman 10 silver coins and instructed, "Take the box in the carriage to the prefectural office. If they ask, tell them the person who told you to do this disembarked at the North City Gate. Hurry." Outside the North City Gate lay a bustling seaport, with ships of all sizes crowding the water. Fishermen and porters were everywhere. Large vessels towered like pagodas, their sails overlapping. Smaller boats were mostly fishing vessels, their colorful flags fluttering as fishing nets dried in the sun. Giant Marsh Juiced City wasn't just near the Bingju's Lake, it was also the confluence of the Shui River and the Li Branch River. Its thriving trade made it a major hub for both water and land transportation. Minerals from the Western Territory, slaves from the Eastern Territory, and goods from the Southern Coffin and Northern Beast regions all passed through here. Li Wei bought a 20-meter-long fishing boat. After sailing 2 miles out, he stopped on the water, drinking from a spring to refine his bones while secretly gazing toward the city gate. Clatter. At noon, the sea shimmered under the midday sun. The heavy thud of hooves echoed from the city. Huo Chengkan, the top young martial mystic cultivator of the Tianyi sect, emerged from the city gates astride an exotic beast resembling a tiger, silver spear in hand. The 25C's realm martial mystic cultivators who had been riding behind him immediately dismounted to ask around for information, describing the appearances of Li Wei and Xuanhuan. Blank. End of chapter. Novel. The Primordial Law. Volume 3, Chu Prefecture Lantern Festival. Chapter 21, 165 Li Wei, the young governor of the state. 21st of Volume 3. Translator. Shadow Knight AK. Editor. Shadow Knight AK. Moments later, another group of people arrived. They wore black combat attire, each radiating murderous intent and overflowing with spiritual qi, their imposing presence overwhelming. Leading them was an aberrant humanoid martial mystic cultivator, as monstrously built as a demon, standing 4 meters tall and wielding a 2-jong-long war spear. With each breath, thunder rumbled around him. It was Yuan Chao of Night City. Yuan Chao's nearly crippled right arm had regrown flesh, his eyes sharp and focused as he scanned the water's surface, searching for suspicious targets. Zhuang Yu's hearing had fully recovered. As a pure immortal physique at the 4th stage of the 5 Seas realm, she could clearly hear the sudden commotion and chaos erupting on the pier. She asked urgently, "Is it the Imperial Army?" "More or less. It's an army, but it's the Fire Crow Army of Night City," Li Wei replied. Zhuang Yu froze, her lips moving soundlessly, unable to speak. When Li Wei had purchased the fishing boat, he deliberately hadn't changed his appearance. As a result, both Huo Chengkan and Yuan Chao's men quickly received directions after making inquiries. The two 5 Seas realm experts, gazing at the fishing boat 2 miles away, saw Li Wei standing on deck, waving farewell. Li Wei asked, "You've opened your 4th Qi Sea. Your spiritual Qi should be quite abundant. Can you help me steer the fishing boat? Lord Qi still wants to use my blood and spiritual Qi to nourish the human skin, intending to use it for a long time. That's why he didn't cripple my cultivation. Steering the boat is no problem at all." Zhuang Yu asked, "But where are we going now?" "Anywhere will do. Just head toward the Bingju's lake," Li Wei replied. "Li Wei, why don't we leave? Let's get out of Giant Marsh Ju's city and go to prefecture. It's the Imperial Court's main base, so it's definitely safe there." After a long hesitation, Zhuang Yu finally spoke. The overwhelming power of Lord Qi, coupled with the sudden upheaval in Giant Marsh City's government, left Zhuang Yu feeling utterly helpless. She realized that, with just her and Li Wei, they were as fragile as 2 mustard stalks snapped in the raging current of this grand historical tide. She had already died once and didn't care about her own life. But Li Wei had a bright future ahead of him and shouldn't be sacrificed here. Huo Chengkan and Yuan Chao had never encountered such arrogance. Their hearts burned with fury as they stepped onto the spiritual Qi that covered the sea surface, resembling a majestic god and a green-faced, tiger-headed demon, respectively, as they raced toward the fishing boat. "Leave. Of course we'll leave, but not with our tails between our legs like cowards. Don't worry, I have a plan." Li Wei gently patted Zhuang Yu's back. "They're here. Let's get underway." For the first time, Zhuang Yu obeyed someone other than Zhang Ning. She pressed her hands against the fishing boat, releasing a steady stream of spiritual Qi that enveloped the vessel, showcasing the profound cultivation of a 4th stage of the 5 Seas realm expert. Instantly, the 20-meter-long fishing boat shot forward like an arrow loosed from a bow, heading deeper into the Bingju's lake. Li Wei calmly pulled the sail rope, raising the canvas without haste. Huo Chengkan, slightly faster than Yuan Chao, closed within 20 meters of the fishing boat. With a wave of his silver spear, he swept across the water's surface. Whoosh! Whoosh! A massive wave surged up, coalescing into dozens of white, ice crystal spearheads that shot ahead of the fishing boat. Li Wei leapt onto the stern of the fishing boat, shattering all the ice crystal spears with a single palm strike. He laughed heartily. "You two are truly bold and skilled. This isn't a river or lake, but the vast and boundless Bingju's. Without a vessel, do you intend to walk on water across the sea? No matter how abundant your spiritual Qi, how long can you last at sea? Even those Dao Seed realm masters aren't as impressive as you." Huo Chengkan's heart skipped a beat, a sense of unease settling over him as if he had fallen into a trap. "No need for your concern, sir. We may not have a boat, but you do, don't you?" A vortex of Qi energy swirled beneath Yuan Chao's feet, causing the water within several yards to sink inward. His body then shot forward like a cannonball, appearing above the fishing boat with his war spear thrusting straight down. He was at the 5th stage of the 5 Seas realm, his battle technique honed to perfection. Each casual thrust was a heavenly Dao and law harmony. A phantom of an ancient war general materialized on the high-grade spiritual artifact-level war spear, swinging a 10-yard-long arm. The fist clenched by the arm was positioned precisely at the spear's tip. This was both a spear thrust and a crushing punch meant to shatter the fishing boat into pieces. "Climbing aboard my boat won't be so easy." Li Wei didn't underestimate Yuan Chao. He waited patiently, cultivating his battle intent and momentum. Raising the yellow dragon sword above his head, he became utterly sharp and formidable. Whoosh! With a single sword strike, Li Wei cleaved the sea, transforming his sword Qi into a yellow dragon. The dragon's roar shook the water's surface, causing it to tremble violently. Li Wei didn't use palm techniques to release his battle technique intent. Instead, he was preparing to hone his Tai opens the sea technique and cultivate a second battle technique intent. Based on his experience cultivating the first battle technique intent, he believed that the true essence of the 12 dispersed hands of the Chan sect's battle technique intent could only be grasped through actual combat. Boom! The majestic yellow dragon sword Qi, radiating immense power, and the ancient war general's phantom on Yuan Chao's spear simultaneously shattered, dispersing into expanding waves of energy. Sword met spear tip. The moment they collided, both men staggered backward, their forces evenly matched. Li Wei retreated 6 steps, his blood and qi churning within him, his sword vibrating incessantly. If not for Zhuang Yu's spiritual qi enveloping the fishing boat, he would have crushed it underfoot. Even with the advantage of waiting in ambush, seizing the perfect timing and location, and wielding a divine weapon, I could only achieve a draw against a martial mystic cultivator at the 5th stage of the 5 Seas realm. It seems I'm still a step behind. Though these thoughts raced through his mind, Li Wei let out a hearty laugh. Yuan Chao, you haven't recovered from Zhang Ning's injuries, have you? How did you become so weak? Yuan Chao was sent flying backward, quickly regaining his footing on the sea surface. The moment Li Wei unleashed the yellow dragon sword qi, he recognized him as the young man with the 7 rare insects he'd been searching for these past few days. The Fire Crow cavalry of Night City had been severely crippled by this very man. Truly, he had been searching high and low, only for his target to come to him of his own accord. Yuan Chao was overjoyed, vowing to capture Li Wei and deliver him to the young city lord to atone for his failures. At the same time, he was stunned by Li Wei's sudden surge in power. It had only been a few days since their last encounter. On the Shui River, the young man hadn't even been worthy of exchanging blows with him. Could it be that his arm injury had severely weakened his combat strength? In that brief moment, the fishing boat ahead had already sped over a mile away. Huo Chengqin caught up to the boat, but Li Wei once again repelled him with the Tai opens the sea technique. On the bow of the boat, Zhuang Yu, though blind, possessed keen senses. She sensed Li Wei being forced back yet again and knew that the pursuers were 5th stage of the 5 Seas realm experts. Huo Chengqin, though only at the 4th stage of the 5 Seas realm, was a 9 Springs Supreme, whose combat strength was not far behind Yuan Chao's. She truly couldn't imagine how Li Wei, who had been a mere Spring Surge realm martial mystic cultivator in Burial Immortal Town, could now hold his own against such formidable opponents in less than 2 months. With such talent, it was no wonder misvalued him more and more each time. I'll lend you a hand, Zhuang Yu said, though I can't see, my cultivation remains intact. Li Wei glanced at the receding pier and transmitted his voice through spiritual energy, don't rush. It's not time for you to act yet. First, lure those 2 into the deep sea. Push the fishing boat to its limit and don't let the Tianyi sect and Night City cultivators on their ship catch up. With that, Li Wei, his healing complete, charged toward the stern of the boat, shouting, Huo Chengqin, most of your Tianyi sect's holdings are in the 7 southern provinces. You've allied yourselves with Night City, Coffin Mountain, and Ember Spirit. Aren't you afraid the Zuoqiu sect will order your entire operation shut down? I advise you to turn back before it's too late and avoid bringing disaster upon yourselves. The Tianyi sect was the weakest among the 3 great sects, far inferior to the Sui sect and the Sanchen Palace. They were being dragged forward against their will. It's the same now. They have no way out. If they don't advance, they'll die even faster. They have no choice. At first, they only wanted to take advantage of the situation, to gnaw a piece of flesh from the Zhu clan. These words undoubtedly struck a raw nerve in Huo Chengqin's heart, and his aura immediately weakened by a third. Boom. 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 The 3 continued their fierce exchange, gradually descending deeper into the sea. The dock on the shore was no longer visible. Yuan Chao and Huo Chengqin knew exactly what Li Wei was trying to do, to keep them from boarding the fishing boat and drain their spiritual qi. But this was clearly a foolish fantasy. The 2 launched a coordinated attack, one flanking left and the other right. Li Wei was instantly struck, a spear piercing his chest. Even with multiple layers of defense, his face turned deathly pale, and he suffered internal injuries. Whoosh! 7 phoenix-winged moth emperors emerged from the insect tube, transforming into 7 streaks of light that collided with the clouds of spiritual qi surrounding Yuan Chao and Huo Chengqin as they tried to board the boat. What is that? Huo Chengqin waved his hand, unleashing a 10-foot-tall handprint that swatted away one of the phoenix-winged moth emperors like a mosquito. The 7 phoenix-winged moth emperors had just finished devouring the 1,000-year-old herb with ice attribute Zuoqiu Ting had brought. Their bodies were still only 3 inches long, and their cultivation was at the 2nd stage of the 5 Seas realm. Yet their combat power rivaled the 3rd stage. However, their defense and speed were extraordinary. Even after taking a palm strike from someone like Huo Chengqin and crashing into the sea, they quickly recovered, flapping their wings and taking flight again as if nothing had happened, resuming their attack. Attack! Li Wei tossed the ghost banner to Zhuang Yu. Since she was blind, this treasure was perfectly suited for her. Zhuang Yu channeled her exceptionally pure spiritual qi into the ghost banner. Immediately, a dense, black nether mist billowed out, completely enveloping the fishing boat and covering a vast expanse of surrounding sea. With the nether mist as cover, Li Wei immediately activated the Dao Ancestors Tai Chi fish. Tai Chi marks and spatial fluctuations appeared around him. In the next instant, he retrieved Li Ling from the blood mud space. We must leave them both behind. Unleash every talisman you've prepared, Li Wei instructed. So it was you who stole the black metal box. How dare you stand against us? Huo Chengqin was enveloped in the nether mist, his senses severely impaired. Yet he still recognized the aura of the ghost banner. It takes a lot of courage to oppose you. Besides, it's always been you who've been opposing me. I haven't even bothered to hold you accountable yet. Li Wei adjusted his official's robe, fastening the wide belt adorned with gems and jade pendants and straightening his official hat. He looked every inch the handsome, godlike young official, dashing and full of youthful vigor. Whoosh! Driven by spiritual qi, wisps of purple mist emanated from his robe, forming a cloud that enveloped his entire body. Boom! Li Wei's form vanished within the purple mist cloud. The next moment, the cloud materialized directly above Huo Chengqin's head, having traversed more than 10 meters of space. The yellow dragon sword pierced through the void, its sharp edge cutting through his protective spiritual qi. Huo Chengqin had never seen such a display. A mere 5 Seas Realm Junior had just teleported to kill him. This transcended the concept of speed. He was instantly terrified, his soul scattering in panic. He unleashed his battle technique intent and desperately swung his silver spear, hoping to leverage his superior cultivation to escape this deadly crisis. Bang! After a single clash, the purple mist cloud overhead vanished. Simultaneously, the purple mist cloud reappeared before Huo Chengqin, unleashing another fierce sword strike. Boom! Boom! Purple mist clouds flashed around Huo Chengqin 6 times in rapid succession. The 4th sword severed his right arm. The 5th sword pierced his lung. The 6th sword pierced his forehead and skull. The entire process took less than 2 breaths. Huo Chengqin had managed to block the first 3 strikes only because of his vast combat experience and the protection of his powerful battle technique intent. Li Wei's figure materialized in the space, his feet planted on the sea surface. The purple mist was drawn into his official's robe. With his sword in one hand and Huo Chengqin's silver spear in the other, a smile spread across his face. His plan finally seemed feasible. From the fishing boat behind him, a terrifying aura and icy energy erupted, causing the sea around the vessel to begin freezing over. A chilling, malevolent energy emanated from the boat, as if a ghost king had been born. Li Wei turned sharply to look. Amidst the dense, black nether mist swirling around the fishing boat, a 4-jong-tall ghost shadow clad in metal armor emerged. Wielding a war lance, it strode across the churning sea, its murderous aura as demonic as any fiend's, advancing toward Yuan Chao. 4 Zhong. A full Zhong taller than when I summoned it. Is it because her cultivation is higher than mine? Blank. End of chapter. Subscribe to the MTL World at Malworld 1 YouTube channel.